Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 155th part of explanation of my theory. Exhalation-inhalation of proton-bound electrons in an order in an atom, and their results are spectral lines. 1. Each spectral line is result of a single proton-bound electron's single breathing, inhalation, enlarging, exhalation, shrinking. In short, respiration. 2. Intrinsic, perpetual, regular cyclical motion forms of meta-sensation perception matter, MSPM. Electron motion forms are capable of enlarging and shrinking by the effects of special conditions from outside. Effective successive waves of free electron motion forms effects make these proton-bound electron motion forms enlarge. When they completely vanish, proton-bound electron motion form shrinks its initial wavelength, or when partly decreases wave number of successive waves, effective successive waves, it shrinks at a certain step. Wave number step, fifth step, fourth step. Okay, this is first wave number, fifth wave number. Okay, this is third wave number. This is the step. Stay here. Then enlarge ninth wave number. Then ninth wave numbers, successive waves, partly vanish. Then shrinks to third number. Then pulse this 100, 2.5049, 500 point. Wavelength size, single wave, pulse. Yes. Proton-bound electron motion forms are capable of enlarging and shrinking by the effects of special conditions. 3. Electrons inhale and exhale, respiration, or breathing. They breathe, they respire. While inhaling, they enlarge, expand. While exhaling, they shrink by the effect of special conditions. 4. Here, for instance, here lithium atom. Blue circle, smallest wavelength, 10.128 nanometer. Its initial ionization energy, ground state energy, is 122.38 eV. This is initial in balance position, proton-bound smallest electron. and greater green one, it's lambda to 16.38 nanometer, and greatest one 229.9 nanometer wavelength. Okay, they can, under the effects of effective successive waves, enlarge and shrink again. While shrinking at the certain rates, they produce and push single wave pulse, and each single respiration, only single wave pulse, single line. This is second electrons from 1 to 5, n equal to, okay, enlarges and shrinks according to this formula, of course, that I put forth. Okay. And this wavelength is single wave pulse representative wavelength, say this is 17.0705 nanometer spectral line, produced and propagate from second electron n equal 1 to n equal 5. Okay. Second electron made this line in one respiration, single respiration. Enlarges fifth multiplied by a squared fifth, 5, okay, enlarge 25. And then go back, initial wavelength, 16.38, and while shrinking, this point energy differences according to this, okay, it produce and propagate single wave pulse that its representative wavelength is lambda c Vp is equal to that. This is shrunken electron motion forms point energy and is smaller. Then enlarged expanded electrons point energy, okay, this energy smaller than this and minus, and finally this is single wave pulse energy and corresponding wavelength is single wave pulse and single waves line, spectral line. Okay, this is my formula. Effective wave numbers and these radius or different wavelengths of electron motion forms, which one, second one, third one, first one, which one wavelength, are determinative for these spectral lines that I put forth, and certainly and absolutely and completely I predicted by my theory and my formulas. Yes. Snapshot. I hope you see. Story is long. I try to tell you my ideas. I will go on, of course. 4. With every breath, electrons with every respiration, every single breath, single respiration, electrons produce and push a single wave pulse which corresponds to a single spectral line. With every breath, their inner adiabatic medium change in certain conditions, and with every breath, with every respiration, they swallow a certain volume of meta-sensation perception matter from outside of their motion form boundary to inner side of their motion form boundary. my absorption definition is that. And while exhaling, shrinking, they pour out a certain volume. They pour out a certain volume of their inner part of meta-sensation perception matter. This means this exhausted volume of meta-sensation perception matter in all directions is a single wave pulse which enlarges, expands through the eternity at the speed of light. This is my emission line definition. Again, with every breath, respiration, they swallow a certain volume of meta-sensation perception matter from outside of their motion form boundary to inner side of their motion form boundary. My absorption definition is that. And while exhaling, shrinking, they pour out, empty out, not completely empty, partly empty out. While exhaling, shrinking, they partly pour out a certain volume of their inner part of meta-sensation perception matter. Their limits are part of meta-sensation perception matter also. In fact, there is no limit in meta-sensation perception matter. This means this exhausted volume of meta-sensation perception matter from a p-bound electron motion form produced and pushed in all directions. This means this exhausted volume of meta-sensation perception matter in all directions is a single wave pulse which enlarges, expands through the eternity at the speed of light. This is my emission line definition. 5. With each enlarging inner adiabatic medium of proton-bound electron motion form changes, but not as our subjective reality facts. We think this is a balloon. If this is expand, its inner side pressure is greater than this. No. This tension between outside and inside tension is greater than this tension between outside and inside. So interestingly, I advise you to watch my first video, motion arrow, first coming out electron motion form in meta-sensation perception matter. First becoming, not coming out. First becoming. Yes. Five, with each enlarging inner adiabatic medium of proton-bound electron motion form changes. 6. Proton-bound electron motion forms enlarge at the squared wave number rate of effective successive waves of free electron motion forms from outside. When these waves completely vanish, proton-bound electron motion form shrinks its initial imbalance wavelength in an atom, like this. Second electron, from 1 to 5, enlarge, then vanish, again initial to 1, and push, produce and push single wave pulse, representative wavelength, this. Yes, this is lithium atoms. Spectral lines. Right side NIST data, left side my prediction. Okay? I advise you to watch my previous and former videos about lithium atom. Yes. Right side National Institute Standards and Technology data. Left side, my theoretical, according to my theory and my formulas, my predictions. 4 pages here. Yes, 6 proton-bound electron motion forms enlarge at the squared wave number rate of effective successive waves of free electron motion form from outside. When these waves completely vanish, proton-bound electron motion form shrinks its initial imbalanced wavelength in an atom, or when effective waves numbers decrease as much as at the rate of rest waves squared number, proton-bound electron motion forms stay corresponding at this rate decreased wavelength. Like what? Like this. Say, third electron motion form, which is its smallest one, 10.128 nanometer wavelength size. Okay. It's not first step, it's third step, stay. And successive waves, 16th successive waves, okay. Make it enlarge, make third electron enlarge, then when 16th vanish, not completely, through the 3 and stay 3 and is equal to 3, okay. 16 squared, okay. 3 squared, okay. And this formula, my formula, here, result, this is single wave pulse spectral line, representative wavelength, okay. Yes, and completely I predicted line by line, certainly. Yes. Difference between enlarged wavelength corresponding point energy. Here. And shrunken wavelength corresponding point energy is different between. Okay. Energy of produced and pushed single wave pulse from proton-bound electron motion form, and its initial wavelength and effective successive wave number are determinatives of this energy. Here is my formula. Then representative wavelength, proton-bound electron single wave pulse representative wavelength corresponds to a single spectral line. Here n smaller wave number, and g greater of effective successive waves of free electron motion form number, and lambda e is initial wavelength of proton-bound electron motion form in an atom. This e may be smallest one, lambda 3 is equal to 10.128 nanometer, maybe this. Lambda 2 is equal to 16.38 nanometer. Maybe this, here lithium atoms, for example, 222.9 nanometer. Okay, and this formula, and this is 4 pages. Again, 1. Left side, my prediction, right side, NIST data. You can compare. Line by line, my theory is valid, proven. 1, here, second page, here, third page, here, fourth page. Line by line, I predicted. Then, here, details, okay. I want to explain all lines and computations in detail, but I hope you understand. Okay? Story is so long. I will go on. Yes, for children. Sometimes electron may be a balloon. Okay? Yes. Have a good evening. See you later.